Hello, beautiful people. Good evening. It's Sylvia from Horizon Mental Health Clinic. I'm a psychotherapist and author. So here I am, as promised, on Monday, talking to you. So today, this live is actually inspired by my conversation that I had today with my brother about subconsciousness. So, hi Thomas, hi. What is subconsciousness, and is it important? Isn't impacting our life? And how can we change it? If we need to change it, okay? So, first of all, let me explain what subconscious mind is. So, there's different layers in our mind. There's conscious mind, there is subconscious mind, and there is unconscious mind. So unconsciousness is something that we don't know, so we don't really have an access to it unless we really work hard. Consciousness is our kind of everyday task that we are actually using our consciousness to do something. So consciousness is, right now, I might be conscious about what I'm actually talking to you about, or, when we're talking to someone, or when we eat, when we drink, so that's our conscious. When we drive, that's actually subconsciousness. So for the beginners, if someone is actually learning how to drive, they will drive very conscious. But if someone is old driver, they will drive using subconscious mind. So really, subconsciousness is something that we are programmed deep inside our psyche, that we are able to do something without thinking about it. So all our habits, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you drive your car, the way you believe, your belief system actually is based, it's programmed, it's coded in your subconsciousness. So this is why subconscious mind is so important, because it really rules our life. It rules your perception of yourself, it rules perception of the world, it rules all your belief system is actually based in your subconsciousness. So if you have a mind, your core beliefs that are actually not helpful, then it's important to change your subconscious. If you want to change anything, if you want to change any habits, if you want to change your lifestyle, first of all, you make a conscious decision. That always is the first layer, it's the basic, but then to actually change it, happen and make it permanent, it needs to go deeper. It needs to sink. Mind over matter. Yeah. So it needs to sink more in your subconsciousness for any change to happen. And let me give an example of very unhealthy way of being, and let me give you an example of unhealthy subconscious belief, okay? So imagine a small elephant that is chained up in some concrete pole, and every time he was trying to let himself free, he will only hurt himself. So baby elephant try to leave the chains, try to free himself, and he can't. So after some time, he learns that every time he tries to free himself, he will only end up hurting himself. And as the baby elephant grows, that belief doesn't change. Okay, so from the baby elephant, now we have huge grown elephant. The chain is still the same, the pole is the same, that hasn't changed. But his belief is that if he will move his leg and he will try to free himself, he will only end up hurting himself. So for that, he doesn't try it anymore. He believes he tried many times when he was younger, didn't work, and now he is big, the chain is tiny, but his belief is that he can't do it. And then he hears, elephant, just move your leg. You won't even feel it. You're huge, you're massive, you have the huge strength in you now. And he says, no, because I have tried it many times before and I did hurt myself. Okay, but now you're different, now you're stronger, now you can do it. Logically, he sees that he is different, he sees that he is bigger, but he's too afraid to hurt himself again, so for that he's not trying. And that is the example of very unhealthy core beliefs that are based in our subconsciousness. Many of us have that. And believe it or not, a teenager, basically he is hearing 17,000 times. Monkey see, monkey does, yeah. But 17,000 times an average teenager is hearing that he cannot do something. And then he turns into an adult. And he hears that, oh, you can't do this, you should be doing this, you can't do the college. And he's like, I can't. Oh, like half of my life I've been hearing that I can't do something, and now you're telling me I can? No. Do you see how unhealthy that can be and how huge impact it actually can have on our life? So, okay, if the baby elephant has this core belief and he's not trying, he is then living his life very unaware. He doesn't have any self-awareness. And like, if we are talking to our children that they can't do something, it will then become their value, but it will become their belief system. Like, it will be coded in them. But for us to be a parent who can help our children, we actually need to help ourselves first. So this brings us to, how are you talking to yourself? You know, we all have the inner voice. We all have the self-talk that we do, and sometimes you might not even be aware of it. But let's say something like, I don't know, okay, let's say you had a cup of tea, and you spilled that cup of tea. What would you tell yourself in that situation? Oh my god, like, I'm so stupid, how would I not do it? Like, why did I not pay attention? Or would you say, okay, not a big deal, fine, I just clear it up and make myself another cup of tea? Very often we do self-talk, but we are not aware. We don't pay attention. And why is that? Why are we not paying attention? How are we talking to ourselves? Why are we not paying attention to how are we treating ourselves? Because negative self-talk became a norm. It's something that is normal for us. And I'm sure many of you have heard, oh, positive self-talk, daily affirmations, And you're thinking, yeah, whatever. It doesn't work. No, it doesn't work only if at the beginning of your day you're starting, thank you, Thomas. It doesn't work only if at the beginning of the day you start your day with positive affirmations, and then to the rest of your day you're actually talking very negatively to yourself. Of course it won't work, because it's out of balance. One positive affirmation can never balance out, I don't know, like hundreds of negative self-talk. And if that's what you're doing, then self-affirmations, manifestations, positive self-talk will never actually work. Because you're only feeding to your subconsciousness. You're only feeding the negative core beliefs that are already programmed in your subconsciousness. So I'm sorry, I have my glasses up, by the way, because when I had them up, when I had them down, the reflection of my phone, and you couldn't see my eyes. So if, I want you to feel like I'm talking directly to you, and you can't really connect with somebody if you don't see their eyes. So this is why I have my glasses up. Okay, so coming back to our subconsciousness, our self-talk, and our, how to try to change it. So again, it needs to be balanced. You need to pay more attention to yourself. You need to pay attention to how you are treating yourself. Have you ever asked yourself, what is your relationship with yourself? And many people will react like, what is that? Well, hi Maya. Thank you very much. So we all have relationship with ourselves. Even if you're not aware that you have one, you still have one. This is how you're perceiving yourself. How you perceive yourself is based on your relationship with yourself. So if you're not respecting yourself, if you're talking to yourself negatively, if you don't really treat yourself well, if you don't pay attention to your needs, if you're not taking care of yourself, then the relationship with yourself isn't that healthy, is it? And this comes back to our subconsciousness. This is coming back to your childhood. Subconsciousness is being programmed in our childhood from 0, yes, you heard me right, from 0 to 7. That's the time when your subconscious mind is being programmed. You might be then changing few things, but for you to have the awareness and to change anything, is you need to start paying attention how you're treating yourself. How are you talking to yourself? It's like the baby elephant. He had the choice. It's not like we don't have a choice. We always have a choice. Even when you say you don't have a choice, guess what? That still is a choice. There's not such a thing like no free will or we don't have a choice. No choice is still a choice. Like at the end, you're still making a choice not to do anything. So if you're unhappy, if if you feel like nothing is working out for you, you don't look outside and you don't blame the life. You look internally. You look inside. Wait a second. How come someone has a great life, and why other people doesn't? It's not because of the life, or it's not because there's something wrong with them. It's the relationship that they have created with themselves. If you're treating yourself badly and all of what you're doing is dwelling on the negative thoughts that you have, don't expect the positive results in your life. Don't expect to have actually good, healthy relationships. Don't expect to have a loving partner if you don't love yourself. Like, how are you supposed to receive love if you're not able to give yourself the love that you actually need? And another important thing is to know that only you can hear your own thoughts. So if, let's say, you always hear your thoughts, you always hear your needs, but then it's up to you whether you're going to listen to it or not. And that is your choice. So if you're not, another thing with the subconsciousness and changing your mind and changing your patterns and wanting new results and wanting to welcome more positivity in your life, one and big step is to stop being afraid of taking responsibility for yourself. Believe it or not, many people don't do that. We run, we force things, we manipulate things, we try to make things our way, we don't accept other things that are not congruent with our expectations. All of that is lacking responsibility for ourselves. We tend to blame other people for our life, for our unhappiness. That's not the way we should be living. People who are congruent with themselves, people who pay attention to themselves, they're very easy actually to spot because their energy is completely different. They don't tend to blame other people. So it's not like we are born and life owns at something. But many of us actually do believe that life owns at something. That's not the case. Life isn't either good or bad. Life just is. And what you make out of it, it's totally up to you. And that is your free will of how are you going to live your life. And I'm not saying that everything in your life is for you to control. No, we all know that things happen, things that are out of our control will happen, they always have happened, and they, it's part of our life. But then, even though it happened, we have still control of how are we reacting to that situation. How are we in it? Who we are while this is happening. That's what matters, and that's what you actually have control over. Yourself. Stop trying to control everybody else but yourself. Stop trying to control everybody, try to get them meet your expectations. That's not their job. It's your job. It's your job actually to make yourself feel responsible for your own life. Stop blaming others for your unhappiness. If you're unhappy, you got to look inside. What is my self-talk? How am I treating myself? Am I respecting myself? Am I good to myself? Am I looking after my own needs? If the answer is no, there is your reasons for your unhappiness. It's not the life. Life itself is just is. It's amazing. But for people who want to have an amazing life. You know, recently I was listening to a podcast, and the guy said that life is doomed to only doomed people. Like, you know, like, or like success is only available to success people, but it's all in our mind. This is coming back to the beginning of this life. Subconsciousness is everything. So whatever you have put in your head, whatever you have said that it is, then that's what it's going to be. There's no other way around. Everything starts within yourself, not outside. We all have been born with the mind. We all have been born with imagination, with creativity, with the gut feelings, with visualization. We all have it. But the thing is, what are you doing with it? How are you using that? And the truth is that many of us don't even pay attention to those gifts. We all are born with those amazing gifts, but we don't tend to use it. Why? Because we got it for free. And then when things that we're getting for free, we don't value. But actually, the paradox of life is that everything that we are getting for free, it's priceless. And that is love, that is healthy relationships, that are people, that's respect, that's, you know, things that we can't buy. But we don't pay attention, we don't notice what we have. We don't see the power of our minds because simply it's been given for free. I know it's a lot to take, and I don't want to scare you. That's not the purpose of this life. This life is to empower you. If you will make yourself more aware of yourself, of the relationship that you are creating every single day with yourself, then you're able to change anything in your life. And that including yourself. Because actually that's where you should start. Don't ever look answers externally. You have the wisdom, you have the knowledge that you need inside. You just search for it. And when I say the knowledge and the needs, it's your own needs. Like, you can't ask somebody else what you want. You can't ask somebody else what are your needs. You can't ask anybody else to start taking responsibility for you, because that's your job. That is you. And you got to pay attention. You got to pay attention to yourself. How are you feeling right now? How do you feel right now after me saying all those things? Check in. Check in with yourself. Yes, it's a lot. Some of you might be like, oh, I don't want to hear it. Great, no problem. Some of you might be like, oh my God, maybe I should really start working on myself, and maybe really I should be paying more attention to myself and how I'm talking to myself. All of this is to empower you. This isn't to scare you. That's not my intention. My intention is to make you more aware of yourself, of the relationship that you're actually creating every single day with yourself. And believe it or not, that is the most important relationship that you will ever have. Because based on that relationship, you will be projecting out. If you're loving and kind to yourself, you're going to be loving and kind to other people. If you're going to be understanding towards yourself, you're going to be understanding towards other people. But if you're angry all the time, if you're angry with yourself, if you don't forgive yourself, if you start to believe that you can't do something, then you will start to believe that other people can do things. You will lack trust, like you will not trust them. And you will never trust yourself. Is that the life you want? What it would be like to get up in the morning and be like, nice one, I got myself. I got me. Or looking in the mirror and like, be like, yes, I like you. I like what I see. What it would be like looking in the mirror and telling yourself, oh my God, I'm a great guy. Why are we so afraid to be so polite and so good to ourselves? Why are we afraid that it's going to be cocky if you're going to love yourself? Or selfish, that's another thing, yeah. Believe it or not, self-love and self-compassion is quite opposite. It's polar opposite to being cocky or to being selfish. Because there is no room for that ignorance. You're much more aware of what's going on and you don't have the need to use people or to think about me, because you're not afraid that there'll be not enough for you. You're trusting, you're loving, you're kind. And you believe that there is enough. You believe that you are good enough. I know. This was quite life, I know you have a lot to take and I know you have a lot to think about it. So my suggestion is, after this live, try to journal. And it doesn't have to be like a huge essay. It could be a few sentences. Just check in with yourself. What have been activated within you after this? And ask yourself, how are you feeling? And all of those, questions that you will pay attention to yourself, it's going to help you connect with yourself. You will connect your mind and you will connect your feelings together, and then they will work. That's how you get the right answers. When the mind and emotions are working together. So journaling or reflecting on your emotions and not running away from them. That was my previous life, about emotions and not running away from them. That's how you get connected. That's how you build your power. That's how you feel more empowered. By connecting your mind and your emotions. When they work, you're unstoppable. You're actually unstoppable. Okay. Such a lovely evening. Maybe towards the end, I might introduce two of my books. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm an author. And first of my book is Grow Into Your Happiness. This is where I'm talking about being good enough. It's more about building relationship with yourself and self-acceptance, mindfulness, self-care, happiness, And this little beauty, The Secret Codes to Happiness, that's my very recent book, is about subconsciousness. It's about how to reprogram your subconsciousness to get where you want to be. Both of those books are available on my page, my website. It's psychotherapykuchena.com or in Amazon. So if you would like to dig into it, you can search for them. I think on my website, I'm sharing one chapter for free out of this book. So you can again download it and get it for free. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for being here with me, and for everyone who have shared this live. I extra thank you. So, as I said, next Monday I will be back. We will be talking about, I don't know what we will be talking about. Actually, I never make really a plan. I prefer to be this natural when I feel inspired, when I feel, yes, this is exactly what I want to talk about. Then kind of it flows. Then I don't make notes. The note doesn't really work with me. I always get stressed and I'm like, oh, where was I? So when it comes out of my head, it's much more easier for me to talk to you, and then I feel much more connected with my content and with you. So this live was inspired, as I said, by my conversation with my brother today. So okay, thank you very much, everyone, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.